25, 19, 25, and 20, 25. They hit 167 and allowed the Flyers to hit 322. Hoyos with the opening serve for the Patriots. And we are underway on this Saturday night. The quick Jimmy Meinhardt, and he gets the first point. Meinhardt last night had 5 kills, hit 556, 1 for 1 to start today.
Good start for the Ramblers, establishing the quick again with Meinhardt from McElligott.
Ramblers 4-5 now on the season, 3-2 here at Gentile Arena, having won 3 straight via the sweep. As that's wide down the line, so it's 2-0 Loyola.
If you haven't seen George Mason, they like to run pretty fast to the pins. Do a really good job to tempo out of McDonald's hands outside to French, just missed wide.
It's the freshman Jake Reed serving, who is inside the top 20 in the country in aces per set, but has the service error there. So back to serve for the Patriots will be Jason Aschenfelter, a 6'6" senior middle from Redondo Beach, California. Patriots at 3-4 on the season as they return the service error. An interesting schedule for George Mason. After today, they are off until February the 16th when they start conference play against NJIT.
They had a couple matches scheduled in that window, ended up being changed.
And they run the middle there with Sam Peters, senior from LaGrange Park, Illinois, top 25 in the country in blocks right now.
If you're looking at rosters between the two teams, you'll see that there is a pretty strong Illinois presence for the Patriots.
Yeah, Loyola, of course, they've got 13 players from the state of Illinois, but George Mason with a fair share as well. McElligott with the back set to Parker Varenview, and bounce back to him, and he finishes that one off to make it 4-2.
Van Buren continues his hot hand. Saw last night. Don't think he had an attack error, did he? I think he had an incredibly clean match.
It's 667 with 11 total kills and didn't play the third set. Serves for the first time tonight. And hit into the block. Liam French denied by the Rambler defense for their first block point of the evening after they had 4 last night and at 1.94 per set this year, which is 18th best in the nation.
When you talk about the Ramblers to other teams, when they try to describe the Ramblers, they always talk about their size, their physical presence.
Back set there from McDonald. Oakley on the cover. Dean Meyer gets his first attack and finish of the evening.
See, the middles have been involved a lot more. They've become more active, not just middle blockers, but middle hitters for the Ramblers.
Meinhardt yesterday, he had 5 kills. Meyer had 5 kills. They were 556 and 833 respectively. So those are your middles last night for the Ramblers.
See if Hoyos gets involved here.
McDonald runs it back for Bowles. McElligott over for Fabakovic, and not able to keep it alive on the floor there was French. And the Ramblers off to a 7-2 start.
Yeah, nice job from the Ramblers. Starts with the serve. Good touches on the block and scoring points in transition.
That's 3 straight points for Loyola. It's actually 4 straight, I should say. This is the 3rd serve now for Parker Van Buren. Off the hands of the block, McElligott over to Fabakovic, and that one lands in. Fabakovic with determination, his second, and an early timeout called by George Mason as Loyola.
And Fairfax.
Now, you did mention to me during the break just now that George Mason's having a tough time finding themselves early on in this match as there's a service error, so they will get side out here at 8-3.
Yeah, Mason started off, you know, they've played a solid schedule as most teams do right now, and just last night, thought they felt pretty good about going in. Had a good idea what was going on for Lewis, but Lewis really took it to him.
Liam French will serve, 6'2" redshirt sophomore from Virginia Beach. And a nice one at that. French picks up his 9th ace of the season. He led the team last year with 30.
And at any time, you know, you want to try to do your best, especially defending home court, about trying to keep your kind of foot on the gas, as they say, right? Not allowing the visiting team to kind of get the momentum.
Oakley on the serve receive. McElligott, Parker Van Buren off the triple block. Scrambling over there to get a hand on it was Paul Wyszynski, the sophomore libero from Northbrook, Illinois. Good effort, so it's 9-4 Loyola. After that point goes to the Ramblers here early on in the first set.
Wyszynski's a highly rated libero, another local player.
Second team all-conference last year in the EIVA is Fabakovic with the serve. After that, Hoyos has it denied, but great defensive play. Now a free ball for the Ramblers. Meyer. Again, Mason, a good job scrambling, and the lefty swing by Bowles comes back over. And Mason certainly earned that point. Troy McDonald picks it up for the Patriots to make it 9-5 Ramblers.
Good battle on both sides. Good battle on both sides.
So serving here is Sam Peters with Loyola on top 9-5 in the first set. McElligott. So back-to-back setters with the points here. First Mason, and now the Ramblers 10-5.
See McElligott stay physical at the net. I made the mistake yesterday saying I really didn't think he was that offensive, and he definitely showed me wrong. Does a nice job in the front row.
Meyer with the serve. Middle attack off the block. Ashenfelter. And we're going back and forth here. 10-6 Ramblers here in set one.
Starting to settle down now for both teams.
Yeah, since the timeout, it's been 4-2 George Mason. And this is McDonald back to serve. 6'4" junior from Manhattan Beach, California. Top 20 in the nation right now in digs. Gets an overpass off the serve. Now he will set it up for Hoyos. So very good answer from the Patriots out of the timeout. As I just look to my right, you can get a little fist pump from Jay Hosack, the 9th-year head coach for the Patriots. 10-7.
Haven't seen the pressure from a team in a while now for the Ramblers. Mason is a very solid program.
McDonald serve over the head of Fabakovic, who dives out of the way. So Ramblers back on the serve here, leading 11-7 in the first set.
So a lot of times you'll see serves either a top spin or kind of flip themselves out. That last serve was kind of in between, a little hybrid.
McElligott serve too far, so 11-8 Loyola. These two teams played last year in Fairfax. It was a 5-set affair. Ramblers won it 25-23, 18-25, then 25-21. The fourth set, Mason won it 29-27 before Loyola prevailed 17-15 in the fifth set. That went off of Van Buren and back over. The attack by French. Good play by Oakley. Now Van Buren into the net. A rare error that we see like that from Parker Van Buren. 11-9, Mason within two.
Yeah, I see a timeout here maybe from Loyola. Kind of settle the team down a little bit.
So both teams now have used a timeout here in the early going.
Do a good job of ending their road trip on a positive note before they get a break and get into conference play.
Paul Russell serving, 6'3" junior from Ellicott City, Maryland. Oakley has to sprawl forward to get it. Back row attack, Fabakovic coming back over. Oakley to the floor. Now it's Van Buren, cross court to finish. And Parker Van Buren back on the board with his third kill in 5 attacks.
Gotta give a shout out to Matt Oakley handling the court, doing a nice job on the initial serve that came that was a little off speed. Was able to lay out, played up in the air, and the ball that came over during that rally handled that first contact.
Oakley, of course, who was second team all MIVA a year ago. His service error now 12-10. Loyola and George Mason go back on the serve with Jason Ashenfelter. Father Mike played at Southern Cal back in his collegiate days.
Yeah, George Mason has a few players with legacy.
And how about a block solo for Sam Peters? Already referenced that he was top 25 of the country in blocks. He had a 6-block match in that 5-set loss against Loyola last year.
Good challenge for the Ramblers. As you see Mason really starting to use their skills to their advantage. Again, starting with the serve, doing a nice job.
So George Mason, after falling behind 8-2, looking to tie it for the first time today. Fabakovic. Hoyos got his hands on it, coming to the net. Free ball for the Ramblers. McElligott with the back row attack for Jake Reed.
see more of the back row big from the Ramblers, especially as George Mason starting to key more on the middle. The stuff block on the last play of Meinhardt led to the big success.
Meinhardt the serve. McDonald, and that's a kill for Liam French, who had quite the hang time off that set for his first kill.
Van Buren just missed that block. French had it underneath his hands to score.
So now we'll see Bowles on the serve. Second team all EIVA last year. Actually 2 years ago he had that honor. A service error.
It's got to be a cool thing for Mason to come in town and have so much support with not only, you know, family and friends, but also there's also alums here in the house tonight.
Parker Van Buren, second team All-American a year ago. He's already had a couple of 20-plus kill matches this year. Those are games against top 10 teams, as Dean Meyer makes it 15-12 Ramblers.
Again, that point for the Ramblers comes off the serve of Van Buren. Really good serve. Had the option to hit the ball in the overpass. Dean Meyer decided to play the ball up and led to a kill.
Van Buren, redshirt junior from Cross Plains, Wisconsin, with the second serve here. And that's in. It skipped in before hitting our line judge. And the ace for Van Buren makes it 16-12.
Coach Hosick looked at his group to see if that ball was in or out. Guys at first didn't know, and then they realized that ball was in.
So Van Buren's had 3 serves in each of his turns at the service line so far. And we always talk about just, you know, getting multiple serves every time through and stringing points together. 16-13.
Side out once, serve twice whenever you can.
So now George Mason will try to do that with Liam French, who already has an ace himself today. George Mason is inside the top 30. Start the weekend in aces. Service error.
And you saw some of that pressure during the middle part of this set, where after the timeout, Mason's done a good job from the serving line. That time a miss, but since the initial timeout, they've done a good job serving.
Fabakovic, played by Libero Wyszynski. And there's a cross-court kill for Omar Hoyos, the senior from Pembroke Pines, Florida. It's the 2-time second team all EIVA.
In good pass, Mason puts a lot of pressure on you. Fast to the pin, fast to the bick, fast back behind.
Sam Peters back on the serve. Reed to McElligott, back to Reed, and hit it over the block. No touch, but Loyola looking towards the coach, John Hawks. Matt Oakley saying, you know, that was touched, and Coach Hawks will trust his team, and he'll grab the green card, and we'll have a challenge at 17-15, and we'll see if this gets reversed to 18-14.
Because a lot of the COVID guys are gone, there's going to be a lot of parity.
And I heard it's going to be reversed. 18-14 the score will go to, instead of the 17-15 score, and give the kill to Jake Reed.
No complaints from Mason. Ramblers get the point.
Yeah,
get a chance to get Meinhardt back in.
Troy McDonald, maybe in the huddle, said, yeah, guys, I touched it. Shh.
So now Mason's looking to get their lineup checked real quick to make sure they have the right lineup with the next server. Seeing where they are. Looks like they should be in row 6, where McDonald's right front.
And the Ramblers will have Dean Meyer back to serve, who has 1 ace on the year and 7 service errors.
But going back to my point about the parity in men's volleyball, where you've seen many of the top teams battling against other top teams and getting defeated, and it's really not, you know, the exception. It's going to be kind of the norm throughout the whole season.
Yeah, it's like after UCLA left here, they went and kept playing some strong competition and picked up a couple of losses. Ohio State got to the #1 spot in the country as Loyola leads 19-14, but then they suffered a loss recently as well. So it's everybody's kind of fighting back and forth.
And everybody, you know, those in the know, I mean, understand the situation in those matches. I mean, good wins by those teams. Some teams were shorthanded, but again, it's a team you face that evening.
Yep. Hoyos has it blocked by Meinhardt and McElligott.
Might see a timeout here from George Mason.
And that will be a...
The setting core for the Ramblers is pretty solid. And I will say, I think there's significant depth for the Ramblers with this team.
So Mason out of timeouts. The rest of this set is Omar Hoyos. It's side out at 20-15 Ramblers.
That time, Hoyos saw more one set of hands than two. Meinhardt went up with a quick.
Served by McDonald. McElligott, the back set, back row, Van Buren out of bounds down the line. So a couple points in a row for the Patriots.
Gonna see if Meinhardt can get himself in some space.
Reed getting it back. Had it blocked. Oh, miscommunication, Van Buren. And McElligott. It was a you take it, no you take it situation. Right. So led off by the block there by Bowles.
Might see Van Buren in a situation. He's run out of the middle before in the Vic. Might go back behind. Oh, we got a serving error.
21-17. McElligott will serve. The sophomore. Played in just 7 matches last year. Hoyos had to adjust there on the right side. Reed over the block and down in front of French to make it 22-17.
And I've seen McElligott do a nice job of communication when he's playing out there. We'll let guys know that he's going to step in and handle the ball either with his hands or that time with his forearms, and plays up the ball nice and high, allows a hitter to go up there and attack the ball. And smart swing by Reed to score.
Reed, 3 kills, 4 attacks, 1 error. Solo block, Van Buren. Wyszynski with the pass over to Hoyos.
Great dig.
By Fabakovic. Now Van Buren. And no touch. Point for George Mason.
Looks like there was one call for a touch from one of the line judges. But first official, Christian Krychak, waved that off, called out of bounds. And there seemed to be much of a dispute.
Into the net, 23-18. George Mason's men's basketball team just picked up a win over Rhode Island, 92-84. Of course, George Mason and Loyola, when it comes to all the other sports, share a conference, the Atlantic 10.
You know that.
Bowles, and that lefty opposite on the right side, making it 23-19. So this one's not quite over yet here in set 1. And Ashenfeld, it'll be Paul Russell who will be serving. A lot of members of his family went on to Penn State to play volleyball. His father and 3 of his brothers played at Penn State. Van Buren goes cross court and gets the Ramblers the set point.
Not Aaron and those guys?
I don't have their names written, but Paul Russell, I mean, it sounds like you know. It sounds like you're probably right. Just got the father and 3 brothers in my note.
Got a couple guys playing for USA, the national team.
And here comes Miller Truby. Comes in here on set point for the Ramblers after 8 kills, 3 aces, 727 in 2 sets played last night. 24-20.
I will say Truby came in a different spot tonight. Came in as a serving sub for the middle. Usually comes in to play either the right side or the other half of the 6-2.
Bowles serving. Need to fend off 4 more set points, the Patriots do. McElligott back for Van Buren, who ends it at 25-20 with his 5th kill of the first set. So Loyola, they withstood the Mason run in the middle of this set that got the Patriots back within 1, but Loyola takes a 5-point victory, 25-20 in set 1 here from Rogers. 15-12 later on, so they were certainly in contention. McElligott with the opening serve of the second set. McDonald Feeds it to Bowles, blocked by Meinhardt. Now Hoyos here on the right side, and he's denied by Reed and Meinhardt, but it goes out of bounds. Point, George Mason.
Mason really needs one of their, I guess, stars to step up. See Hoyos there, Bowles, someone to really help their team right now tie this matchup at one set apiece.
Served by Hoyos. Oakley receives it. Van Buren, nice play, McDonald. French rolls it over to the middle of the floor.
Good range there from French. Off the set of Baczynski to score the point. Again,
out of
Hoyos
system, but yeah.
You know, Hoyos gets a chance to go back and serve again, which is a positive for George Mason.
Paul Russell is, nope, Hoyos is back to serve, number 13. Reed has to wait back for it. Hoyos diving to his right for that. French off of Oakley, playable. Van Buren saves it at the table. Free ball for the Patriots. McDonald, the back set to Bowles off the hands of the block.
Ooh, good set.
Van Buren out of play, point Ramblers.
And I love McElligot's courage handling the ball. You want your quarterback to put the ball in his hands as much as you possibly can. He's done a really nice job. Good swing from Van Buren as well.
Here's Jake Reed. Freshman's got 3 kills, hitting 400 so far today, but there's a service error, which is number 7 for the Ramblers thus far.
And that's an important thing for the Ramblers. We talked about it as a key before serving, you know, being able to put pressure on teams and not having to have the pressure back on you because of missed serves. That's what Mason had in the end of that first set.
Fabakovic finds the sideline. The tape 3-2. Loyola led the entire first set, wire to wire. So far, Mason has had the only leads of this second set. As Fabakovic is back, or check that, it's Meinhardt back to serve.
So we've seen a couple wins here from the Ramblers, and it's good. Done a nice job managing situations. The Ramblers are at their best when they're able to handle their skills the best. Handle the serve, be able to have balance on their offense.
Meinhardt. At the net. Knocked over. And now, middle. The kill for Sam Peters. 4-2 Mason.
And nice job by George Mason winning that long rally. Have not seen that a lot so far tonight. The Ramblers have won the share of the long rallies.
Jack Bowles will serve. Gallagher will go back for Van Buren. And that ball is in.
Over the block and in for Van Buren. We see now Mason have Hoyos have a serving run. Bowles with a serving run. And those are positives for George Mason. That allows him to still have the slim lead.
Van Buren serving. Grazing the net on the way through. French is blocked by Meyer and McElligott.
So the Ramblers have done a good job on the short set. The balls that are pushed in front, McDonald's, instead of taking the ball long back behind overhead, keeps it on the same side. The blocker's done a really good job, especially with McElligott up there, getting his hands across the net to stuff that ball.
It's our first tied score of the entire night.
Really?
Yes, sir. And now George Mason back to a 1-point advantage. You've yet to have a lead change either.
Wow.
Liam French is back to serve. He's working with 2 kills, an ace, and a dig today, but he's had 3 attack errors. Gallagher feeds it to Fabakovic. Playing it is Van Buren. They go back to Fabakovic, switches it up, tips it over the block, knocked over.
Good job by Oakley.
And McElligott overswung on it. And point Mason, 6-4.
Just commenting how Oakley did a nice job of taking care of that first contact. That was going to allow Van Buren to also swing if they needed to.
So a second serve for French. Long pass to Fabakovic, fading towards the middle of the net. And an Hoyos denied by McElligott and Meyer, and that is now 5 Rambler blocks.
Again, that's one of those keys we've seen so far where we don't see the long set a lot from McDonald. It allows the blockers to get themselves in a spot. Kind of doing an equivalent, kind of call it an overload, where it's on one side of the court. The likelihood of it going the opposite direction, it's pretty small.
Hoyos. And Ramblers called for the net violation.
Looked like McElligott that time for the net error.
7-5. Patriots by a pair. Serve was by Peters. Reed down the line and off of Bowles and into the 5th row.
Yeah, nice job by Reed. Reed's strengths are his serve and also first contact. Does a nice job attacking as well. We saw him hitting some balls out of the Bic last night.
His brother Brendan plays at Pepperdine. 7-6 Mason here in the second set after the Ramblers won the first set 25-20. We've had one tie all day and no lead changes yet, as that is off the block by Hoyos, and Mason regains the 2-point advantage.
Hoyos did a nice job showing some range, chopping that ball off the outside hand of McElligott to score.
6 kills for Hoyos. Second team all-conference last year, led the Patriots at 3.58 kills per set. This season he's at 2.67 so far as Reed side out Ramblers.
Nice job by McElligott. Having good energy, receiving that ball when he set it. Looked like he was going to set the quick. Had 2 blockers up that time. Had a one on nobody on the outside for Reed to score.
McElligott to serve. He's got 16 assists now. 5 blocks for McElligott today. Overpass and the easy tap down
We got it.
by Jimmy Meinhardt. Ray was ready for that bouncing ball, but it just didn't get up over the table.
I mean, I called mine the other day for a ball, so getting excited.
All right, tied now for the second time here this set. Loyola looking for its first lead of the second set. Back row tip by French. Here's Van Buren. Off of McDonald, goes off of the roof and then off the space ring, kept alive. George Mason's going to celebrate, even though they don't get the point, because that was pinball. So it went off of a barrier that comes up and down that blocks off the court, you know, when you come in and have multiple games going on. Then off the space ring, and then down, and then just chaos ensued. 9-8 Ramblers, and that's an ace for McElligott to make it 10-8.
For a timeout here from George Mason.
Timeout by the Patriots.
These are all things he's been looking to try to do. Get a competitive group here, and then ideally get it to a championship level.
McElligott still serving after the timeout, but now 10-9 and side out George Mason.
So we'll see how Mason responds this time after the timeout. So where they went on a run last time in the first set.
Okay, they were down 8-2 in the first set, called a timeout, eventually got back to within 12-11. Never took the lead, though, in the first set. Into the net, Meinhardt. And so out of this timeout, 2 straight to tie it at 10.
So again, the ball came on the short side for the Ramblers. You saw it from Mason where that ball from McDonald usually gets set outside. Gallagher tried to go back behind on the quick. Real good attempt, just a little bit low, a little misconnection.
Hoyos, the serve. And Loyola regains the 1-point lead on the service error, 11-10, as the two teams have combined for 16 service errors now.
And that's the hard part sometimes in the men's game, where you're going to see those disruptions because of serving.
Served by Reed. And the middle attack by Aschenfelter. The tie is at 11.
Again, you see a little bit more energy now after the timeout. Similar to the first set for George Mason.
Fabakovic blocked by Peters, and then Peters goes and played it again. Van Buren blocked again Peters and French, and Meinhardt finishes off the rally.
Nice job by Meinhardt. Well, good job, really good job for the Ramblers to continue the rally, covering balls up, recycling plays. Meinhardt put himself in a better spot to be set in a gap and hit the ball, crosses by to score.
Meinhardt's now 2 for 4 today, but 2 errors, but he's been very efficient on the season. Back row, Hoyos with the kill.
And that's part of the Mason offense. Love running the quick pick out of the back row.
Now Bowles, our player to watch today for George Mason. 2 kills on 8 attacks. 1 dig, 1 block so far. A native of Park Ridge, Illinois. Goes long.
Park Ridge. That's Maine South High School, huh? Am I right about that? It's home to one of my old teammates and national team member Tom Hoff.
Bowles blocked, and it lands on the back line. Oh, that is now 6 blocks for the Ramblers.
Like the level of work from D. Meyer tonight, both sides. Done a good job on the short side, on the left side attack. Also done a nice job there with his feet, getting his feet in his hands in a good spot to get to touch the ball and get a stuff block.
Van Buren. So it's now 14-13. Meyer, by the way, now up to 4 blocks on the evening. So it's 6 times now this year he's been at 3 or more on the year, including 6 against Merrimack last weekend.
Again, the Ramblers are looking for double-digit attempts from out of the middle position.
Babakovic, and he picks up the termination, his 4th. Meyer's got 2 kills on 3 attacks. Meinhardt 2 kills on 4 attacks in the middle today for the Ramblers.
Now the quad in the middles for Mason's pretty solid. Both middles doing a nice job touching the ball on the block.
Served by Fabakovic. French out of system, and reading it too late was Hoyos.
Yeah, a little miscommunication that time. McDonald looked like he was going to try to run that ball down, then called for help, maybe a little bit too late.
3rd Loyola ace. Ramblers starting the weekend just inside the top 10 in aces per set. Peters in the middle with a big finish.
So you can see more quick there for Mason, which will probably lead to their big pretty soon.
Sam Peters will serve. He's got 3 kills on the day, 1 dig, 1 block. That one well out of play.
Looking for a touch? No touch. All right.
It was so out of there that you almost assume a touch, but just a mishit. 16-15. Mason trying to tie it back up with the Peters serve. McGalligan to Reed, and that'll put the Ramblers back in front by 2.
Again, Ramblers are doing a good job kind of managing through the situation. Ideally, they would like to have more balance, get the quicks more involved, but the middles for Mason are doing a good job on good pass, committing with the middle.
McDonald to Hoyos. Right now, not much separation between these two, and that's basically, again, since the 8-2 start for the Ramblers in the first set, it's been a 1-point difference, give or take,
for sure,
in this matchup.
The Mason guys are winning the style points as far as the kill, but the score ends up being the same.
Reed got the hands of the block and then played by Wyszynski. Free ball for Loyola. McGalligan, back set, Van Buren, the finish. High level of action here, both sides of the net. Timeout, George Mason. So that's their second and final timeout. Trying to go up 2-0. And hoping to finish off this homestand with 4 consecutive victories after opening with a pair of losses against BYU, of course, and UCLA. Van Buren now with 11 terminations.
Enjoy that situation there where Ramblers put Van Buren on the back set going against Hoyos. Oakley with a nice dig, and the ball got set out to Van Buren in transition to score.
McElligott with the serve. That's coming over. McElligott getting the pass from Meinhardt, and then back to Reed.
And that's a part of the game I thought McElligott was really positive in, is handling a tight ball. His athletic ability really allows him to handle those balls that are tight. Meinhardt's pass was a little bit tight, but again, McElligott made the ball better. Back behind to Reed.
So that was Reed's 7th kill now. 20-17. Mason will go back on the serve with Omar Hoyos.
So the Ramblers were able to increase the lead. The serving run from McElligott.
Fabakovic. Wyszynski with the dig. Hit over by Hoyos. Van Buren right through the middle and deflected off the block.
Nice job by both teams. Saw the pick in action there for Mason in transition. Hoyos just missed it. Left the opportunity for Van Buren to get set.
McDonald's, and the block from Meinhardt is not getting a big touch on that middle attack was Ashenfelter. 22-17.
So now in good pass, French has been pretty solid, but when the ball's been pushed in front of him, there's been a big block for the Ramblers.
McDonald going to French, and another Rambler block to make it 23-17. That's 8 blocks. And we're almost through 2 sets here, so at 4 blocks a set right now for the Ramblers in this one.
That's the situation I was just talking about, where that ball's pushed towards him.
And that will go as an ace to make it 24-17. Jake Reed, and it's set point Ramblers.
After 20, the Ramblers have been pretty solid so far in this match.
20-17 in the first set. They won 25-20. Actually they got to 20 much earlier than that, 20-14.
Bulls can get set. Yep, there it is.
Set point. But Mason fights one off. 24-18 on the Bulls kill.
All right, and that's one of those kind of rare plays from McDonald so far, where usually he's kind of set where he's been going. That time had to go against the grain, find Bulls, get him in rhythm, try to get a chance to score.
Paul Russell will serve. Loyola won the first set, 25-20. Fabakovic, block out of bounds, and the Ramblers win the second set, 25-18. And now a third set win away from 4 straight sweeps to wrap up this homestand. We'll see if George... Van Buren into the triple block as this third set is underway. McElligott, back set Reed, hit the net. Long pass over. Hoyos kept it inside the antenna. Nicely done. Got the first point of the third set by Omar Hoyos.
He now leads in sets 2 and 3 for Mason.
And now a 2-0 start for the Patriots off an ace. So same way they started the second set, taking the initial lead. That's an ace for Colin Heath, seeing his action for the first time today. Tips off the net. Back row attack, Fabakovic to make it 2-1.
Yeah, another nice draw from Meinhardt. Mason commits on the block, leads to a one-on-one or one-on-nobody out of the back row in the attack.
Jake Reed the serve. Down to get it. Van Buren, and that lands on the Mason side for the Rambler point to tie us at 2.
Good high swing by Van Buren. Nice to see Van Buren's range a lot this year, where he's taking balls high off the block, scoring around the block, not allowing the block to have a big impact.
Served by Reed. That's Wyshynski on the serve receive, and then the finish by Sam Peters to put Mason back in front. 3-2.
Tell you that when Mason gets a kill, sometimes those guys get hyped. You know, big bounce that time from Peters. We've seen big swings.
He's 3 for 4 today. Actually, he's 4 for 5. Meinhardt returns the favor.
Again, like Meinhardt's approach tonight, he did get stuff blocked earlier in the match, but since then has done a nice job putting himself in a good space to attack the ball around the block.
Meinhardt the serve, and that's out of bounds.
Rare miss for the middles for the Ramblers this weekend. Both he and Meyer have done a good job from the serving line with their jump floats.
Gallagher, the back set, Van Buren. Pancake by Wyshynski. Tip over by Bowles, and point George Mason. Give a lot of credit to Wyshynski, of course.
Wyshynski does a nice job touching that ball up in the air.
Troy McDonald back to serve for the Patriots. McElligott over to Fabakovic, knocked over by Bowles. Fabakovic off of Wyshynski, straight up and down. Hoyos tools it off the block. 6-3 Patriots. They've got a lot of energy and a pretty good amount of fan support behind their bench right now. It's not a ton of people, but they're loud. And we got a timeout called by Loyola. So the early Rambler timeout gives us a break. Good plays by the libero, Paul Wyshynski, as well.
Wyshynski's done a real nice job. Got to give a shout out to his old coach, Chris Cooper, the legendary player, Hall of Fame coach, as well as Hall of Fame player.
McElligott in the middle for Meyer, and it's a nice run stopper to go to that efficient middle attack that the Ramblers have. Meyer's 3 for 4, and you have Meinhardt, who's 3 for 5.
This is the largest lead we've seen for Mason so far this match.
I believe you are correct. Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
3.
Great job by Meyer touching that ball.
Wyshynski will set up Hoyos, and a triple block up against the antenna. And the Ramblers now with 9 blocks here tonight.
Real good job by Meyer using his length to reach and touch the ball on the quick. Seen a lot of times Hoyos involved here in the rotation 1 for Mason.
Over the net, and the diving play by Bowles. Free ball for the Ramblers. McElligott winds up and delivers.
We will say that's Meyer's one of his best sets of his career. And again, when you just have that offensive threat, that's going to lead to good situations for Van Buren on the back row.
Second kill today from McElligott after he racked up 5 yesterday.
Seen multiple runs from Van Buren tonight on his serve. He's done a solid job. I mean, that ball goes long, yes, but he's also been involved in serving runs, point runs for the Ramblers.
You look at the numbers for Hoyos. 9 kills, 278. Of the year, he's been hitting 238. Hits that one into the net, and we're tied at 7.
So the Ramblers did a really good job. Coach Hawks and his staff calling a timeout at 3 serving 6, or 6 serving 3, excuse me. Then have come back to tie this up.
Fabakovic, 6 kills, hitting 400 on the day. The back set to Bowles between Oakley and Fabakovic for the kill.
Don't think we call Bowles' name enough tonight, where he needs to be involved for Mason to find some success.
He's 6 for 14 with 1 error. Couple of digs, 1 block. Now serving is Ashenfelter. McElligott doesn't go for the big swing. Instead, really sells the set and picks up another kill.
The middle for Mason has to respect D. Meyer coming in on his approach pattern. It puts a lot of pressure then on left front to perform.
So we've been tied now at 6, 7, and 8, but Mason has regained the lead each time. And again, this time it's Peters.
Again, enjoy the energy from Mason. Good plays, lots of positive energy, good celebration. Now they have to execute in a situation where it might be challenging.
Well, they have no reason to hang on to any of their energy because, again, they do not play again until February the 16th. Flying in from the back, Fabakovic denied. And again, it's Peters.
And that might be a situation for McElligott there where you might want to take that ball back overhead and set it to Van Buren.
Mason does not play for 20 days, and then they play the rest of their home games in a row, and then have a couple of games on the road to wrap up the season. It's a very strange schedule. Service error for Bulls, but it's 10-9 Mason.
I would assume their schedule would have been kind of crazy last year where everybody wanted to play in Fairfax because they were hosting the national championship.
Yeah, you're right. That's Loyola did, of course. McElligott the serve. That goes long. So, seen that often where the teams have traded service errors.
And really for Mason, they don't want to get in a spot where they want to trade points at all. They want to find ways to build their lead. They're looking for a 3-point, 4.5-point lead. Want to force the Ramblers to call their second and final timeout.
Colin Heath serving, as you can see, from Winnetka, Illinois. And service error for him.
North Shore represent. New Trier guy. I'll still be nice to him even though I'm from Evanston.
And now Jake Reed will serve. 7 kills, 545 with 3 digs and an ace today. Oakley got to it, punched over by Meinhardt. The set for Hoyos, got a block touch.
Great set.
Fabakovic kept up. I think it was Wyszynski along with Heath. It's Van Buren. Wyszynski can't play that one.
That's a great rally on both sides. That was the great we talked about before for the Ramblers.
14 kills for Parker Van Buren. At 11 last night, hitting .667. The 14 today at .524. Served by Reed. Bulls from the back row off of Oakley, who's unhappy with himself. Thought he should have had that dig.
So you see Mason, good job when the situation's good. The pass is good. Wyszynski handled that ball. Nice set, good offense. Now how do they handle the other situation, which is chaos, and a little bit of trouble when it's not the best.
Ramblers have not led here in the third set. McElligott back for Van Buren, and the block by Hoyos with Ashenfelter. And that's Mason's 4th block of the night, 13-11 Patriots.
And then again, good job by Hoyos. Good hands, got his good eyes to see that ball, see the set. Be great if McElligott could repeat back to Van Buren and get him back on track.
The defensive numbers for the Patriots is Fabakovic off the hands of the block to make it 13-12. Loyola leads in blocks 9-4, but the digs are even at 16 apiece.
Big rip there by Fabakovic, taking the ball high off the hands to score. Seeing the Patriots use a lot more of the quick, especially on good pass.
Served by Meinhardt. And getting it right back. Ashenfelter, 14-12.
So kind of see what the Patriots are looking to do again, establish the quick. At a certain point, you're going to need Hoyos and Bulls to step in, step up.
Meyer, his 4th kill. He's 4 for 5. So we keep alternating points here.
And that's that trading points part we were talking about. This is where Mason really wants to find ways to score. Mason's in the rotation 1 now. They have Bulls on the left side and Hoyos on the right. Seen fast sets going back behind to Hoyos in this situation.
Wyszynski got to it, kept alive McDonald's. And that's out of bounds. So again, you got Wyszynski and McDonald there defensively. And it leads to the block out of bounds, and Mason back up by 2 again.
We've seen McElligott turn and be offensive. Now let's see if he can use the back row attack with Van Buren.
An ace. Hoyos, 16-13 Patriots.
You might see a timeout here from Coach Hawks, or might be able to ride this one out.
Yeah, he's already used one, so might be kind of early to be without timeouts, I would think.
But this is the biggest leader again we've seen for Mason.
Yep, matching it from a little bit earlier on in this set when it was 6-3. Van Buren and double block Patriots, Ashenfelter and Heath. And now the largest advantage overall at 17-13.
Probably see a timeout now.
Yeah, John Hawks will use that second timeout, so Ramblers won't have a time today. It's the second time all season Dan Mangan is in the lineup. So he's in there as the setter. McElligott out, and Miller Truby came in to serve, but I'd say he's really in for the first time now.
Right.
As part of the rotation.
See if Hoyos takes a serve off. Goes big.
17-14. And now we've said it, or I said it, at least in the games that I have seen, that Miller Truby is instant turnaround if you need it. He's come into games and has quickly been able to change things in the past.
We're going to see the relationship here between he and Mangan. See what happens.
Heath, and it goes off of Mangan. Truby there, knocked over by Meyer.
Took a violation there from Mason.
So Loyola, Mangan and Truby involved very quickly, and 2 straight.
It'll be interesting to see for Coach Hossack and asking Patty Rolfe if Heath was actually involved in the action when he hit the net. And it looks like it still stands. Nice job by Mangan stepping in there, playing that ball.
Of course, Mangan missed the start of the season. Thumb injury, wrist injury on his right hand, and Babakovic can't keep that one alive. 18-15.
So I talked about it earlier where when we've seen the 6-2 in the past, it's been with McElligott and Truby. Those guys have usually worked well together. It's just kind of how it shapes up. Now with McElligott getting the start, going with Van Buren, as Mangan comes in, he now has Truby. So let's see what their relationship looks like.
Served by Russell. Mangan saved it back from Meyer. And the Ramblers, Mangan was in the net. 19-15. Patriots trying to force a fourth.
Coach Hawks trying to see if he has another timeout left. You could see a situation where if the Ramblers aren't able to score, he might sub back and go back to the original setter-hitter combo.
Mangan, Meyer, inbounds for the point. You could also strategically, maybe it's too early to do that because you're up 2-0, but you could also challenge something that's maybe not going to go your way, but could use it as a timeout.
You could.
But again, like I said, you're still early overall in the match. You might want that later on potentially. And that goes off of Fabakovic. Bowles making it 20-16 Mason.
So you see Mason doing a good job offensively. That time putting Peters in a spot where he became, he ran the gap set. Drew Meinhardt had to commit on that one-on-one back behind against Reed.
Bowles. Mangan backs for Truby. Oh, nice play, Mangan, but it's set up Heath. Patriots are rolling now and looking for 4 more points to send us to a fourth.
This is the best George Mason's looked so far after 18. They're the first to 20, and now 21 in this set.
And Bowles continues the strong serving as he picks up the ace, the 4th for George Mason today and his 1st overall.
And that time, Reed knows that ball probably was a little bit long. Just couldn't get out of the way of it. That might be the point that helps Mason get through.
Madigan to Reed. Coming to the net, Heath blocked, kept up, off the net, played over, off the block, point Mason.
So I'll be curious to see if there's a challenge for a back row violation. But good aggressive play there by Hoyos.
23-16.
Good serving run here by Bulls.
And it ends here after 4 straight points, 23-17.
You see probably the 6-2 kind of come back now. Now the Ramblers will go with the first half of it, and they'll put Van Buren in because Truby has a solid serve. He missed his serve in the first set, but he came in as a serving sub for the middle as opposed to kind of his natural spot as the right side.
Back row and the Rambler block, 23-18.
The one thing you won't see for the Ramblers right now is a true setter. So in situation, you might see Oakley step in and the handle the second ball. But right now, it's real important for the Ramblers to keep putting pressure on. See if Peters gets involved for George Mason.
It's Heath into the net, and Loyola saying they didn't touch it on the block. So it should be 4 touches for Mason. So it's probably a challenge is going to happen if Mason gets the point, which they do. Immediately, Hawks grabs the green card. And they were pretty adamant that ball was just straight into the net and not off a Rambler. So for the time being, sure, 24-18. But it seemed pretty convincing that it was just the net, 24-18.
Mason's done a good job with their impact players having impact. Seen Bulls with spiking and serving. Hoyos has done a nice job. The middle's 4. Mason's also done a good job here in this third set.
And the Patriots almost won it on an ace. Fabakovic keeps the Ramblers alive, 24-19, but that's the first of 6 set points that the Ramblers have to fend off.
Now McDonald and Peters have had a really good connection, especially in this third set.
McDonald had a block. Peters hit it with his leg. Van Buren. Hoyos, 3-ball Ramblers. That's going up near the space ring and spins down. Bulls off the block. Oakley pops it in the air. McElligott to Fabakovic. Peters had to wait back for it. Oakley now sets Van Buren off the hands of the block. Good cover. Blocked. Covered again.
Nice rally.
And not able to keep it alive. Bulls, who then goes hard into the table over there, but he looks to be okay.
Again, another fun rally on both sides.
All that effort, and Loyola still only within 4, 24-20.
For all those say that there's not many rallies in men's volleyball, let us show you this match here tonight. Still think that McDonald would love to set Peters in this situation. If he could.
And he wins it. Sam Peters wins it with the set point, 25-20 Mason. So
players need to have impact. Kind of like your stars got to be stars. So Bulls and Hoyos have done a good job, not only from an attacking standpoint, but also from the serving line. We've seen both those players have had multiple serving runs, especially in the second and third sets.
George Mason hit 433 in the third and never trailed. Loyola never trailed in the first set when they hit 391. Loyola won the second set hitting 462. George Mason had the lead from 1-0 until it was tied 8-8, and then the Ramblers took control from that point. So each team has had a wire-to-wire set win. And then you had the one in the middle that was tight. I guess it's a more tightly contested, although I'd say it's been pretty tightly contested evenly all the way through. And now we'll see what gives in set 4.
He's done a good job for Mason coming in and having good energy, start with good serving. Real important now for the Ramblers to kind of embrace this. This is how you're going to have to play good volleyball. As you're getting ready for Lee, you're going to have battles. It's not going to be 3-0 every single night. So you're going to have to embrace the struggle and really continue to play at a high level, which they have so far.
Parker Van Buren serves to begin the fourth set for the Ramblers. First attack comes from Heath, and the first point comes from Heath.
You see the Ramblers right now, because of the solid play from Peters, there's a lot more respect on him as a middle. D. Meyer has to go up and commit. Leads a one-on-one on the outside.
Heath now with the serve. Oakley and Reed cross in front of each other. Fabakovic able to cut it by the triple block. And down right there, just beyond the net to make it 1-1.
Nice job by Fabakovic. There've been a couple swings you've seen per set from him. You know, high off the block, real sharp physical swings. Also a bit of range, showing a roll shot.
Mason 2-1. Peters is back to serve. Again, his good day. 7 kills, 1 error, hitting .600. Couple of blocks. They've both been solo. Reed from McElligott. Out of system ball for the Patriots. Get a good swing, though, from Hoyos. Now McDonald feeds Hoyos.
Good job there by Van Buren.
Reed, cross court to the floor to get it was Peters. Jumping forward to get it, Hoyos over the net. Fabakovic blocked, and that went under the net and to the George Mason side. It looked like it was very close. And the Patriots lead 3-1.
Play's been pretty crazy and hectic and allowed to play.
McElligott into the net. Mason out to a 4-1 start here in the fourth.
So with extended run here from McElligott, it's real important about him being able to kind of steady the ship, handle things he can control with himself.
Side out Ramblers, 4-2 George Mason.
Tell you, Mason, if they're able to stay strong from the serving line, they put a lot more pressure on the Ramblers. They've kind of served themselves out of situations.
Meyer just grazing the net on the way through. McElligott to Reed, and off the block, touch and down.
McElligott earlier tried to play a ball across the net, ended up leading to a point for Mason. He can't lose his confidence, understanding how important his physicality is.
This is the non-conference finale for the Ramblers today as they open up MIVA play Thursday at Ball State. Bulls too far. We're tied at 4.
You saw that decision that time for McDonald. Usually when he gets pushed in front, he stayed on the short side, went back behind and had one on no one for Bulls. Bulls just missed it.
Dean Meyer with the serve. Back for Bulls off of Meyer. And the Patriots have not allowed Loyola to yet gain a lead through the third set and the start of this fourth set.
Yeah, nice job for George Mason running their offense, finding some balance, good location.
Troy McDonald's got 30 assists with 3 digs. He's tried 3 attacks, no kills, no errors. Reed over the block, McDonald over to Hoyos. Oop, couple of Patriots almost combined there. Van Buren off of McDonald, put high in the air, and it was by Ashenfelter, and that led to the swing by Hoyos, but Loyola ties it at 5. I've been so impressed with George Mason's ability to keep balls alive in these last couple of sets.
Guys are scrapping right now. Grittiness on both sides. Hoyos knows that's a swing he wants back. Really good route there for George Mason in that play. Nice job by McElligott on his decision to set Van Buren on that back set.
Hoyos by the block and down in front of McElligott. And once again, George Mason just not allowing the Ramblers over that last hurdle to gain the lead here over the last 2 frames.
Again, good battle on both sides. Both teams are able to stay with the idea that, hey, you know what, they're going to make good plays. You can reset yourself, try to do your best.
Meinhardt had it blocked, but it went out. So we've been tied now at 4, 5, and 6, as well as at 1-1 here in the 4th frame.
Good decision there by McGilligan. I think it's a good matchup there for the quick attack against Ashenfelter. Looks like Peter does a good job blocking.
Reed has one of Loyola's 4 aces today to go along with 8 kills, hitting .438. 4 digs as well. McDonald, the long back set to Bowles. McGilligan to Meinhardt, kept on the net there momentarily. Heath backing up to play it. Here's Van Buren off the back set. This is heading out and slamming into the table again here on this near side, this time Bowles. And there is the first Rambler lead since they won the second set, 25-18. And it comes here at 7-6 in the 4th.
You've seen Mason attack both scores tables. The VIP table across the way and our side now.
So it's 7-6 Loyola.
Great up by Oakley.
Bowles off the overpass and slams it off the block and well out of there, 7-7.
And Mason still staying in it. Now you see Peters enter in the front row, where he's had a big impact, like you talked about. So he came back here from the break.
Served by Ashenfelter, out of bounds. Now it's Loyola that's on these back and forth situations that has the advantage, the slim lead.
Again, looking for Peters early.
McDonald goes back row for Hoyos on the Bic.
Got me. Great job. Great decision that time for McDonald running the Bic. Real nice job.
See, +6 in the kills advantage for Loyola today, 45-39. Ramblers hitting .371. George Mason at about .280. Fabakovic. Here's Heath into the block and back, and this time they're calling it just off the net and not off the block, so
this might be a challenge.
Double contact, and it will be challenged by George Mason.
So the double in that situation is where the ball got played by the attacker into the net, and then he played it. You know, you feel like you're just not getting the call you need because you need one.
So Loyola has challenged twice today. They've been successful and then unsuccessful, so they're at 2. And now George Mason is 1 for 1, so they still have 3 overall challenges. We're tied at 8 here in the 4th set.
You'll probably see Peters try to commit on the quick of Loyola.
Fabakovic. McDonald. The set to Bowles. Gallagher goes to Van Buren. And the Ramblers in the end get that point to go up 9-8.
Real nice job of communication between Reed and Oakley back behind on that play. There's a ball last play where Oakley would step in and use his hands to play it. Reed had a better angle of it. Used this platform for a good first contact.
And Buren, that was his 16th kill of the night. He's got 1 ace as well, a couple of blocks. He'll be close to the net here. And Meyer stuffing Peters. And then Meyer and McGilligan blocking Heath. 10-8 Ramblers.
You got some wows across the board right now. You see a timeout here from Mason.
Timeout, George Mason. Loyola trying to win this one in 4.
Also hitting very effectively.
Defensively today, Dean Meyer is tied his season high with 6 blocks, and Ryan McGilligan has a career high 6 blocks as Mason gets the side out of the timeout. And the score just went up wrong for a moment there, so 10-9 should be the correct score.
Correct.
Got that quickly fixed.
Yeah, so the timeout at 10-8.
Yep. And serving is Colin Heath. Into the net, 11-9 Ramblers.
So it begins, you see the pressure time now for Mason, where everything has to be not perfect, but really good. Heath came in, had a really good impact, did a good job in the last set with his serving. That time he missed the serve and also was blocked earlier.
Loyola has double-figure blocks for the second time in the last 3 matches. They got 11 today. And that's out of bounds from Bowles.
See a net violation for the Ramblers.
So give the point to Mason, 11-10.
There's discussion, but no challenge. But again, Mason has a situation where it's positive for them, where they can go up there and run that ball back behind for Bowles, and maybe that's why we don't see it, because Bowles now in a couple swings have had errors.
Meyer, his day is now 7 for 10. No errors. Season high 6 blocks.
That's great job from Meyer. Good spacing, using his height to his advantage. Really good set location.
McDonald to Hoyos.
That's a good touch.
Van Buren off of the libero. Wyszynski. And the Ramblers up by 3 for the first time here in the set.
So if you're a coach, you're kind of feeling it right now, where the Ramblers are just starting to kind of inch their way. Little bits here and there. We saw a 2-point lead to a timeout. Now it's a 3-point lead for the Ramblers.
Saw the 17 kills for Van Buren. He had a 24 kill match against BYU a couple of weeks ago. Is 13-11 now.
Little kick save there from the Ramblers. Almost a beauty.
And here comes Troy McDonald to serve. The junior from Manhattan Beach, California.
Meinhardt.
Oh, Meinhardt's adjusted last moment. Bowles has it blocked. McDonald sets Bowles, and he gets the point. 2 in a row, 13-12.
And just enjoy good teamwork, especially in volleyball. Wyszynski handles that ball. Ideally, your best defender.
Our 2 players to watch are showing out today. Bowles, 15 kills, 433 with 10 digs. Van Buren, 17 kills, 414 with 4 digs and 2 blocks. Leading their respective teams. Van Buren out of bounds, no touch, and we're tied at 13. So since the Mason timeout, a 5-3 advantage for the Patriots.
Mason was down 3, handled that storm. Now trying to look to take the lead here.
McDonald to serve. Van Buren into the block, back to the Rambler side. McElligott loads up. No one's going to track that one down. And Ryan McElligott with his 4th kill today. He's got 37 assists and the career high 6 blocks.
And you've got to embrace this battle right now. Really good stuff from both teams. Both teams are really scrapping. The attacking is not at the same level, but for sure the intensity defensively is.
Loyola this set 273, 364 overall. Patriots 286, 292 overall. Another tie.
Let's see, now Mason goes back and uses Hoyos, who's had variety in his serve. Taken a little bit off, gotten an ace, gone for it, had some good serving pressure, but also served in the net a few times.
Tied for the 7th time already here in the 4th set, 14-14. Fabakovic from the back row.
It's a nice set there by McElligott. Good stretch for Fabakovic. Do you remember back before we used to watch that, the pick early in the year? It was just kind of like out of sorts. It just wasn't gelling the way you wanted it to, and now you can start to see it a little bit better.
More repetitions, of course, with each other as the season goes. New combinations for the Ramblers. Fabakovic off the block.
Nice
and they
job.
got the point.
Good teamwork here.
Yeah, we got a block touch on that. Helping out the fans behind us. Heath gets to it, off the space ring, and that leads to the Rambler point.
That same 3-point spot, now you might see a timeout.
17-14 timeout Mason, so they're left with no timeouts. But obviously, a season ago.
So now here it is for the Ramblers, where they've been their best has been after 18.
And they'll get to 18-14 with the ace.
So, again, a lot of it for Reed. Reed's not the person who's going to overpower you, but he's going to find consistency when he's at his best. And he's done a really good job staying consistent.
His third ace today. He's had multiple blocks in 5 of 10, multiple aces in 5 of 10 matches this year as the Rambler defense makes it 19-14.
Middles never quit. Never quit Middles. You see a spot here where Meinhardt's still working. He's a little late to get there, but he gets that hand across with help Fabakovic.
Heath blocked again.
You see now
13 now for the Ramblers.
You can see a setting change, maybe. Yep.
Yeah, coming in is Georgi Zaharev, who was a second-team All-Conference a year ago, led the Patriots in assists.
Last night, both setters were involved against Lewis.
20-14, 20-15.
And so it'd be a different look now for Mason to see how the styles of the two setters change. There was a good connection for McDonald and Peters earlier. Let's see what Zaharev does when he sets. Comes in as a player from Bulgaria. There's a lot more tempo for him on the pins than there is setting the quick.
Serve from Paul Russell. As Mason have one last gasp in them. Van Buren out, 20-16.
The intent Van Buren's pretty solid, just a little wide tonight on some of his swings back behind. So we're seeing maybe a quick timeout here from the Ramblers.
Here it is. A timeout Loyola. They'll have one left. The only timeout left on the serve, trailing 20-16. As you see now, Loyola down to the one timeout. Trying to win the final 4 matches of their homestand before conference play begins on Thursday at Ball State for the Ramblers. Van Buren blocked, inbounds, point Mason, 20-17. So we're talking about the Rambler block, and Mason comes out with their 6th.
Say it's all started from the serve of Russell, excuse me. Done a really nice job coming in as a serving sub.
Russell another serve. Can get it real interesting with the point here. Van Buren.
Great dig.
Heath goes back to Hoyos, inbounds on the back line. A big-time shot by Omar Hoyos.
Nice.
His 13th kill, and it's 20-18. That's 4 in a row for the Patriots. Truby in, Van Buren out for the Ramblers.
I talked about the relationships before. The Truby-McElligott relationship is pretty solid.
Russell. Great serve. Oh, it got knocked over on the second hit. Bowles had a block, knocked over, sets up Meinhardt. And a much-needed finish by Jimmy Meinhardt. His 5th termination today to go along with 6 blocks.
You know, love that there from Meinhardt. Just aggressive. I don't know if you've seen that before from him. Just, you know what? Gonna have the courage to go up there and attack that ball with energy. Had to swing fast when the block was ready. Did a really nice job there.
21-18. Misplayed on the serve receive by Heath. Tried to get it to his setter, Zaharev. And it's 22-18.
Yeah, we talked about how the Ramblers were a little bit better than Mason tonight after 20. You can continue to see it. 4-point lead now.
Zaharev sets up Hoyos. Meinhardt got the touch. Fabakovic. And that's a kill for Fabakovic as George Mason didn't have their alignment where they wanted there in the back row as they're frustrated. But it's 23-18 now.
Can see it as well. So now it might be a thing for the Ramblers. They need to commit on the middle. Can he still read in this situation?
Good job, Peters. Off of the Rambler block, 23-19.
Again, Mason does some really good things, plays at a high level. There's just those little lapses, or those levels of inconsistency. I shouldn't say lapses, excuse me. It's more the levels of inconsistency for those guys. And it happens for most teams. We've seen it from the Ramblers in past seasons. Right now, Ramblers doing a good job of managing situations.
Pretty good homecoming today for Bowles. 15 kills, hitting .375. The double-double with 10 digs. Is also checked in with an ace. The Park Ridge, Illinois native. Coming over, saved by McElligott, back to Truby. Hoyos, the long pass to Heath, and blocked by the Ramblers to get them to match point off the 14th Rambler block today.
Man, you thought the Van Buren-Meyer block was pretty big. That Truby-Meyer block is pretty impressive as well. And speaking of impressive, you got Truby back there to serve. It would just be great for him to go for it. Why not?
24-19 match point Ramblers here in the fourth set. Miller Truby the serve. Zaharev got it back for Peters.
Swinging.
McElligott will win it. George Mason is going to challenge as they think there was a palm there on the handle before McElligott.
So we can talk about the
on the
good
first
play
touch.